Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the latest edition of the CR7 podcast. The RTGAC is finally back for episode. We kind of just threw this one together, honestly, at the very last second. So yeah, we're back, and as I just said, finally back as we are. It's been a minute. It's been over a month probably since the last edition. But Cole obviously had the baseball stuff going. I had the lacrosse and baseball stuff going, and baseball unfortunately lost on Sunday to Archbishop Wood, but lacrosse still in the playoffs, PCL championship against LaSalle on Thursday. I'll be on the mic for that game, so make sure you guys tune into that. But that's enough about me. Cole, say what's up to the people.
Good morning, everyone. Like Ryan said, good to be back, and finally we get an episode in here. So yeah, I'm just happy to be here, really.
Happy to be here. I think it's a tired morning for you, honestly. Yeah, very tired. Very tired morning. Late night doing homework?
Not even late night. I was just tired.
Just tired. All right. Well, I mean, it is exam week coming up, so just so we don't take away any time from the end of the show, obviously we're back filming. Excuse me, back recording on my YouTube channel over the summer, basically every week. So yeah, we'll be there on my YouTube channel at Ryan the Great RTG on YouTube. So make sure you guys go subscribe to that if you haven't already. Post notifications on to know when we will be filming. I assume every Monday. I mean, we still got to talk about it, but I assume every Monday or Tuesday, whatever it is. We'll also hopefully be hosting some interviews over the summer as well, at least me, for the prep athletes to kind of keep committed to the grind going. And yeah, that's just kind of the update there. But to get into our rundown for the show, we'll have our Phillies weekly recap, maybe an overall view since we haven't been here in a bit. Then in the NFL, the rosters are set. We're going to be asking the question, who has the best roster in the NFL? Jose Alvarado suspended for 80 games due to PED use. Cole will be giving his opinions on that. And then after the Celtics had an early exit in the playoffs, I will be talking about if that they are in real trouble, or are they in real trouble? And then Cole will be giving his Western and Eastern Conference Finals predictions. We'll get into Ryan's rants, and then we'll wrap things up. Cole, Phillies on a hot streak, on a 4-game winning streak right now after a rough last month, I guess you could say, when we were away. So talk about this team.
Yeah, I'll just start with the past couple games. I mean, offense has been absolutely phenomenal. Besides the Sunday game against Pittsburgh, we've been putting up consistent runs, and even in our we lost to St. Louis, but still scored 7 runs. So as long as we keep putting up runs like we have been, I think we'll be good to go for the most part. And we have some very winnable series here. Colorado, I'm hoping for a sweep, but it is Colorado, so they could take one game out of nowhere. A's, that should be a winnable series. Same with Atlanta, even though they've been getting better as of late, and they do have pretty solid pitching. Chris Sale might get a win there against Ranger Suarez, but yeah, for the most part, this team has been real fun to watch. Now, we did have that rough patch where we got swept by the Mets, but, I mean, we won the series in Chicago. You win against Washington, win against Arizona, sweep Tampa, win against Cleveland, and split the series to St. Louis, and then you sweep the Pirates, and now you got a real opportunity here against the Rockies. Shout out Schwarber for 300 home runs. Absolute tank. Harper 1,000 RBIs. Mick Abel, he threw very, very well this past Sunday against Paul Skeens, who gave up 1 run, but I mean Mick Abel was absolutely filthy. But I mean, I'll get into it later when we talk about Alvarado, but I'll just leave it there. I think we have some very, very winnable games coming up, and I think we get back on track.
Yeah, I think we get back on track. I think we already are, but here's the thing. Obviously, the Phillies are playing great. Schwarber's been hitting incredibly. You don't want to let him walk out the door at the end of the season. And we're winning games, but we're beating teams we're supposed to beat. Now, I'm saying that like it's a bad thing. No, it's an absolutely incredible thing. I mean, we're beating teams who we're supposed to beat. We're obviously supposed to beat the the Guardians were supposed to beat the teams like the Cardinals. We're supposed to beat the Pirates. We're supposed to beat the Rockies. We're supposed to beat the A's. We should beat Atlanta. I mean, they're a bit hurt right now, so I'm not necessarily sure what we should be doing there. But I mean, nonetheless, these are teams that you should be beating, and you're doing that. But when you look at the teams beforehand, like the Mets and like others, teams that are maybe in the middle of the pack, or maybe kind of on your level, you're not winning those type of games. So I don't know. I feel like it's good that we're obviously winning these games. You want to get back into at least the running for the NL East here, or try to keep your wild card spot intact. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to start, winning more games that are on your level. But overall wise, I mean, obviously Cole mentioned it. Mick Abel has been absolutely dominant. I mean, I don't know. I don't know a minor league pitcher. That was too much better than him. And then he came in and pitched absolutely incredible. Didn't give up a run. And Paul Skeens has to request a trade out of Pittsburgh ASAP, but I don't know, who knows if that'll happen. And then what else? The hitting has been good. Bohm started to pick it up. Schwarber's obviously been Schwarber. Harper's been decent at best, I guess you should say. He's been hitting the ball all right. I was at the game on Saturday. It was a great hitting game from everybody. Castellanos even threw me a ball, so shout out Nick Castellanos. First ever ball in 16 years I caught, so yeah, I guess it's the first time for everything. But nonetheless, overall, it's been good, but it's got to be better. Obviously, from when we talk again, we're not going to be seeing any of these, series where we are talking about the Phillies in such a great light because they're going to be playing teams that are really not on their level, or at least that's what we think. The next Mets series is in late June, so that's kind of when we're going to be really looking at this again in the big light. So that's kind of the overall view I have of the Phillies in the past couple of weeks. But we'll move on here. Sticking with the Phillies, Cole, you said you wanted to mention Jose Alvarado's PED suspension, so let's talk about that.
Yeah, this kind of puts our bullpen in shambles because he's been our best reliever by far. Strom's been all right. Kirkring's been bad. Everyone else has been bad for the most part. But yeah, I mean, when you look at this squad, they really rely on him out of the pen. Tanner Banks, Carlos Hernandez, Jordan Romano, they've all been pretty bad out of the pen. So when I'm looking at this, I was looking at Mick Abel and I was like, yeah, I don't really like him in a reliever role. Like same with like Taijuan Walker. They're just not relievers. I like that they put Abel back to Lehigh, because obviously you don't want him to become a reliever, in my opinion. And then Lazar, he was all right for us last year, so we'll see what happens, but Kirkring's got to be better. Romano's been solid the last couple games, but I mean, it's just not looking good, and the suspension really hurts. And I don't really care whether it's like people are saying it was a weight loss drug and stuff, that he didn't even know he was illegal or on the ban list. But either way, bullpen is looking bad, but I like that they optioned Abel down and Lazar up, because Abel should not be a reliever at this point. If he needs to be, he can, but that should happen later.
I think that producer Anthony Sorgi just walked in. Shout out. You'll be there on Thursday, right, for the lacrosse game? All right, Sorgi will be there on Thursday. But nonetheless, yeah, I mean, I agree with Cole. I mean, like, what the hell is the point of saying it's a weight loss drug? It's obvious that it was banned. I mean, there are probably so many banned things on the MLB list. Guys are just taking whatever in God's name they want, hoping they don't get caught for it. I mean, it doesn't really make sense. Yeah, I mean, obviously, you think Alvarado read every single banned thing on the list? No, we probably didn't see it on there. I mean, I'm not saying I don't believe him when it comes to it, but it's also kind of hard to believe him when he says he didn't know, because you should at least it's probably divided into sections. I don't know, but you should have probably figured it out, should have known what you're putting in your body and knowing it if it's on the ban list or not. But nonetheless, getting back into the baseball side of things, I agree. I mean, The bullpen is in shambles, but kind of getting back to my point with the Phillies winning these easy games, this is probably a good thing to see who is good, who is bad. Now, obviously, we know who is good and who is bad, but who we can maybe continue with if we need to make a trade at the trade deadline or not, because we have some time until we play like a really meaningful series again. So I think if you're able to get some new guys in there, if you're up 10-0 or whatever, you get some of these other guys in there you don't typically see. And you try to use them and see what they're made of, what they can do, if they can kind of fill that Alvarado role. So I mean, I think that this is it's obviously not a blessing, but this schedule could be a blessing in disguise based off the fact that we can kind of test these guys out, see what they're made of, and possibly see if we can get back into get a new Alvarado for all we know, or hell, maybe we need to make a trade. Maybe we trade for I don't know. I don't know who's on the market. Is Mason Miller still on the market? I don't even know. Yeah, probably not. So maybe we could find somebody at the trade deadline in the fall if things go south. But this could be a blessing in disguise. But we'll move on here. If Cole doesn't have anything else or more to say, we'll move on over into the NFL. Who has the best roster in the NFL? I'm just gonna start. I think it's the Philadelphia Eagles. And that's not even to be biased about it. I think the Eagles had the best roster in the NFL. And obviously, after the draft, teams got a lot better. You can make the argument for the Lions. You can make the argument for the Ravens. You can even make the argument for teams like the Commanders or the Buccaneers. They're pretty well off. But the Eagles, I mean, look at their roster. There's probably close to no holes in it. You have a top 5 quarterback, the best running back in the NFL, a top 3 receiver, the best one-on-one receiver in the NFL, probably the second best number 2 in the NFL. Who knows who's going to be your number 3? Dallas Goedert, definitely you could say a top 10 tight end when healthy, but the problem is he's never healthy. The best offensive line in the NFL, especially the best run-blocking offensive line in the NFL. They get out. They were able to pull on the second level, and any one of those guys can pull on the second level, and that's what makes them so great in the run game. And then I'm trying to think what else. Defensively, defensive line, obviously there's going to be, a bit of concern about what's going on over there, but you got Jalen Hunt, you got Nolan Smith out there, and then you have in the middle. I'm a big fan of Ojimo. I think he can make a real contribution to this team. And then you have who am I forgetting? Oh, Jalen Carter. How the hell could I forget Jalen Carter? Jesus. You could tell I'm not on football mode, right? I'm on lacrosse and baseball mode, but nonetheless. But yeah, Jalen Carter. I don't know how I forgot that. Then you got Nakobe Dean, and you got Zach Bond, and then you got what do you call it? You got the new linebacker in the draft, Alabama, probably the biggest steal of the draft, is what they say. I really couldn't say I couldn't agree. And then secondary-wise, I mean, you're looking good there. You obviously have Quinyon Mitchell, who Cole will never forget to tell me that he was right about, and I was wrong, but I was right about Cooper DeJean, so I'm going to clap back with that one. But, yeah, you got those two guys. We'll see if Cooper DeJean moves more on the outside this year and doesn't play much in the Y in the slot. And then I'm a big fan of Kale Ringo. I just think he has to do better in deep ball coverage one-on-one. But I think other than that, you're fine. Your roster is completely fine. I mean, there's really no holes in the roster, and all the places that people think that there are holes, I don't think realize how good that the replacements the Eagles have for the guys that they traded. And once again, you can make the argument for the Lions, but you don't know how injured they're going to be. They have some holes themselves. The Vikings are probably one of the most complete teams in the NFL, but I don't think their defense is as good as the Eagles. The Commanders, I don't think their offense is as good. Their offensive line's not as good, and obviously you're not taking Brian Robinson Jr. over Saquon Barkley. So I definitely think the Eagles have the best roster in the NFL.
Yeah, I'd agree. I don't really have much more to say other than, yeah, I agree. So there, I'll move it to the next topic. The Celtics are in real trouble, but are they?
Listen, this is going to be a bit of a longer one, so brace yourselves. So, obviously, we know Jason Tatum is going to be out. Obviously, he tore his Achilles in game 5, 6, whatever, 5, game 5, or 4, whatever it was, I don't know. We obviously know that he is going to be out for all of next season or close to all of next season. So that means Jaylen Brown's going to be your best player. First off, this is a huge opportunity for Jaylen Brown to prove that he's better than Jason Tatum, because I've said it for years that if Jaylen Brown can get more shots up than Jason Tatum, he would be the better player. That's just how it goes. Look at the stats. And look who won Finals MVP and Eastern Conference Finals MVP last year. But anyway, all this congestion killing me. Nonetheless, the Celtics are in deep trouble. And that is not – and if you kept this roster the way it is, they're fine. They could easily get back and win another championship. But here's the thing. They are not going to have the same roster. Look at the NBA second apron. You have two $300 million players, one of them not even going to be playing next year. You have Kristaps Porzingis on a big contract. You have Drew Holiday on a decently sized contract. You have Derek White on a big contract. You're going to need to pay Peyton Pritchard. You need to pay Luke Cornett. You cannot pay all these guys. A few of them got to go. Who's got to go? Drew Holiday's probably got to go. That's not even to saying that he's going to regress in his age 36 season. Kristaps Porzingis, who looked like he was, climbing a mountain for how much he looked, for how gassed he looked out there. He averaged 8 points per game and 20% from three in the series. Is he going to regress any? Because he obviously has a lot of injuries. You're obviously not going to have Jason Tatum, and look at the injury that Kevin Durant sustained to his Achilles a few years ago. And Jason Tatum's injury is worse than Kevin Durant's. Is he ever going to be 100% of what he was? No. And look at Kevin Durant's career. He doesn't play 20% of the season every single season. So now the Celtics, for the rest of Jason Tatum's career, is going to have to gear up to be playing without him for 20% of the season. And once again, do we think Jaylen Brown can carry the Celtics to a championship? He didn't necessarily do it last year, but he definitely was the main piece. So if everything can work out in that regard, then maybe the Celtics won't be in deep trouble. But once again, you have to get rid of your all-star lineup that you had over the past couple of seasons because of the way the salary cap works. Because of the second apron works. If you're over that second apron, your team is pretty much handicapped and can't do anything. The Celtics right now are in deep trouble, and honestly, the way you got to do it, you probably are just going to have to end up trading Drew Holiday for a draft pick or something. I mean, what else is there to do? He's on a big contract. He's the one who's getting the oldest. Al Horford, I forgot to mention him. He's probably going to retire. So you don't have that guy. You don't have him coming off the bench to being, having that veteran leadership, or if that's what you want to call it. You don't have you don't have the money, and obviously you have the money, but you don't have the salary cap space that the NBA has put on, because super teams are pretty much now restricted in the NBA. So if you're the Boston Celtics, you need to get rid of all these players. You at least need to get rid of Drew Holiday. Well, Derek White played great in the series against the New York Knicks. For the most part, I would definitely think about keeping him. But obviously you're going to have Tatum, and then even Tatum's contract doesn't get any better. The year I think we get into college, he has a $70 million player option. Are you turning down $70 million? I mean, are you absolutely nuts? The Celtics are in trouble right now. Not based off basketball, well, kind of based off basketball, but also their salary. I told Jamie this, who fizzled out for a Spanish quiz. I told him that they were going to have to do this, and it wasn't paid attention until now. Cole?
Yeah, really unfortunate for the Celtics, but I love seeing it as a Sixers fan. So there's some goods and some bads, but unfortunately, all hopes and prayers out to Tatum. Hope for a speedy recovery, obviously. But yeah, I don't really have much to say on that. You pretty much got all of it. So I'll just go right into the Eastern Conference Finals, Western Conference Finals predictions. Let's start with the Eastern Conference Finals. Knicks, Pacers. Now, I do like the Pacers coming off a big win, 4-1 series victory over the Cavs, who I believe are the best team in the entire league. Yeah, I really like the Pacers going in this one, but I cannot choose the Knicks. They just knocked off the Celtics. Like you said, they have a lot of issues. Even though Tatum didn't play the past couple games, I think the Knicks are going to take this one strictly because of their crowd advantage. Really, um, I just think they win every game at home and end up winning the series. If they take one in Indiana, that's just a bonus. Um, but yeah, I think they win every single game at home. Because yeah, I mean we saw that that home crowd against the Sixers, like even coming down to the Wells Fargo to watch the games and take Sixers out of the crowd. Sixers fans out the crowd. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Knicks here. I'll probably go with 6 games. I think they steal one in Indiana maybe. Um, but yeah, I'll go with the Knicks there. And then Western Conference Finals, Thunder Timberwolves. This is a little bit crazy, but I'm gonna take the Timberwolves to win this one. I think the Thunder are the most complete team in the NBA, but man, playoff Anthony Edwards is just another like he's just a demon. So I'll take the Timberwolves in 7. I do think it'll uh, go to 7 games because Thunder are a really really good team. Minnesota took care of business against the Lakers and the Warriors, but I think the Thunder are going to give them a good run for their money. So yeah, I'll do Timberwolves, Knicks, NBA Finals, and then uh, we'll come back to it.
All right, so here's my thing. I think that both games are going to 6 games, but I completely disagree with your picks, and here's why. First thing, history is on my side when it comes to Indiana and the Knicks. Indiana gets the Knicks in every single series. Another thing, the Knicks are always played throughout the season. They are played hard from guys like Tom Thibodeau and obviously the rest of the coaching staff. Do we not think that they will be tired coming into the series? Now, obviously, they didn't play, as much, or they didn't play that much, but over the course of the season, an 82-game season, are they going to gas out against Indiana? And let's not take away that Indiana is, I think, better matched to the Knicks than the Knicks are to the Celtics. If you're looking at the Pacers, they have every single piece covered. They have the role players, which is what the Knicks have. They have a really good point guard and a superstar like the Knicks have. They have a really good center like the Knicks have. The Pacers are completely matched up with the Indiana Pacers, and you could argue that their bench depth is a bit better because of the fact that you have guys like Nembhard, you have guys like a Naismith, and you have other guys like Miles Turner who can turn himself into a role player at times. You're looking at the Indiana Pacers right now. Tyrese Halliburton, I mean, I know Jalen Brunson won Clutch Player of the Year, but Tyrese Halliburton is definitely clutch in his own right, has had game winners against the Cleveland Cavaliers and amongst others. So, and also he's playing with a chip on his shoulder, being voted the most overrated player in the NBA. So you got to take all that into consideration right there. I'm not saying the Knicks don't have a chance, but also I think that the Pacers can steal one at the Garden. I think that the Knicks fans I don't know if they're going to turn on the Knicks, but they're definitely not going to be happy if they're down in a game, and that will eventually happen in this series. That could rattle the Knicks a bit, and I think that there's a lot of pressure on them right now to win. I don't think there's as much pressure on the Pacers because of the fact that they're a very young team. Now, while the Knicks are a younger team as well, they have a lot of pressure on their shoulders because of the fact that the Knicks haven't been to the conference finals since Patrick Ewing and others. So you have to take all that into consideration. I'm going to take I'm going to take the Pacers in 6 games. Moving on to the Western Conference Finals, I'm also going to take Oklahoma City. And based off the fact that you have a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander who hasn't really played that great in the playoffs, which I will admit, Anthony Edwards is absolutely incredible. I think that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has the defensive tenacity to slow down Edwards a bit. And I think that if he can get things going offensively, then he can definitely, if Shai gets things going offensively, then really there's nobody stopping him. And obviously we know getting to the free throw line and whatnot. And And then if the Thunder also are able to just make their shots. Look at Denver. Shea didn't do much against in that game 7, but it was really everybody else. It was guys like Lou Dort. It was guys like Isaiah Hartenstein that were able to get it go. Also, talking about matchups, there is no way that anybody matches up to the Thunder. There's no way that anybody matches up to the Timberwolves like the Thunder. Because of the fact that you have an Isaiah Hartenstein, you have a Chet Holmgren to guard Rudy Gobert. The Warriors, the Lakers had none of that whatsoever. So that's the matchup thing right there. I think that, once again, the Thunder, they have better role players. They have the better depth. And then role players play better at home. I'm going to take the Thunder in, I'll say, 6 games.
I'll disagree 2 ways here. I thought the Warriors were very, very good defensively. Other than the fact that, they let Anthony Edwards, get going. First off, Draymond Green, I think he is my defensive player of the year. Just the impact that he has defensively, is probably one of the best players in the playoffs. And then number 2, you got Jimmy Butler. So they are very good defensively. But Minnesota's still 1-5. I like your point there with Shea, that he can't get going at any time, but I think Anthony Edwards can get going at any time. And we saw Rudy Gobert even, had some great performances so far this playoff run. So I'd argue that the Timberwolves are hotter at this point. I get that they just went up against Jokic, and they took it to 7, but the Nuggets have a new coach, so it's not that impressive that they beat them in 7. So I thought they would have took care of business better. So that's why I am going with the Timberwolves. And then with your point again with the Pacers and Knicks, I think that the Knicks, even though they played 82 games, so did the Pacers. So I think they both are gassed. But it's just who's going to play better down the stretch, and I think it's going to be Jalen Brunson and the Knicks. And I like Josh Hart as well. So I'm going to take.
All right, we'll have more debate on this later because we do got to get into Ryan's rants before we wrap up. But I would love to talk about this more in the next episode, saying that the conference finals are in the next episode. But nonetheless, getting into Ryan's rants. Cole, give me the first topic.
How did the Mavericks get the number 1 pick?
All right, 1% chance. Is this stuff rigged, Cole? I'm telling you right now, 1% chance they trade Luka Doncic. Now all of a sudden they get Cooper Flag. It's like Adam Silver just told the Lakers, let me give you Luka Doncic, and then told Nico Harrison, I'm going to give you Cooper Flag. How does a 1% chance team get the number 1 overall pick? We tanked the whole season. Pretty much the whole season, and we still don't get the number 1 overall pick because the Mavericks have to get the number 1 overall pick. They had one ping pong ball in the thingamajiggy. Did Did Mark Tatum just look at the Mavericks thing and just pull it out? How in God's name does that happen? It makes absolutely no sense.
Next one. The Nuggets wasted everyone's time.
So the Nuggets were just going to take it to Game 7 and not make it a classic, right? Oh my G, Mané. Come on, man. You have got to be kidding me. Everybody's hyped for the Game 7. Everybody's getting ready. The crowd's ready to go. And then they just fall apart like a stack of bricks. Are you kidding me here today? What is going on? Teams, they play so great, they do all this, and then all of a sudden they fall apart like a cheap tent, I'll say this go around. They wasted my time. They wasted everybody's time, man. Listen, we got a lot of stuff going on here at St. Joe's Prep. I got to figure a lot of things out, and I'm trying to watch the NBA as well. So if the Nuggets wouldn't have wasted my time on Sunday or wherever it was, that would have been real nice. Last topic.
Why is John Jones not fighting at International Fight Week?
So apparently John Jones told the UFC that the plans are known. So why hasn't the UFC told anybody when John Jones is fighting? Why am I sitting here waiting for a fight between Tom Aspinall and John Jones at International Fight Week, and then instead we're getting into Poirier and Charles Oliveira? Now, don't get me wrong, I love that fight, but come on, man, we've been waiting for John Jones versus Tom Aspinall for about 1.5 years now. I mean, let's go. We need this fight. This has got to happen. The fact that it's being held up is ridiculous. Defend or vacate. It's that simple. Is there anything else to say? All right, we got to get out of here, folks. I just noticed we don't have our names up there. I'm Ryan Sullivan. That's Cole Kuhn right there. I'm sure you guys know that by now, but nonetheless, yeah, episode. I'm not sure if we're doing it next week because of Memorial Day weekend. We'll get into that and later on the CR7 podcast X. Make sure you guys go follow us there and Instagram. And yeah, that'll do it, folks. That's the latest edition of the CR7 podcast. We will see you